The voice of sharing. Durian ASEAN.
Hi, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Gowri.
And of course, you are listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
And we are moving on to our ABC dialogue for today.
And today we have a guest that is starting his own initiative or campaign for unity. He's a unity advocate and a businessman. His name is Zubedy. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, Gowri and Arlene.
Mm-hmm.
So, Anas, tell us a little bit about your work and your background, maybe.
I'm from Penang, and I am a businessman. I started my business about 20 years ago. We are in corporate training, teaching. At the same time, we publish books. Most of our published books are about unity. Yeah. And what happened is that as a business organization, we like to balance between people and profit. And our core brand value is unity. We want to create environment and platforms for people to come together and work.
Why unity is so important in this country?
Well, unity is important all over the world, of course, yeah. But in Malaysia, there's a special need to engineer unity, if you want to use the word engineering.
Social engineering.
Social engineering unity. Because we belong, we are a nation that belongs to many different, people from different backgrounds. And as the nation grows, we have many, if you want to use, fault lines that can be used to create disunity among the people.
Where do you think we are right now in terms of unity?
I think we are fabulous. If you don't mind me using the word, we are fabulous. Of course, in Malaysia, we always want to have getting better and better. But the fact is that we are really fabulous because since our Merdeka 57 and Malaysia Day 1963, we can say that almost 100% of the time we are actually living in peace and harmony, except for a few skirmishes and one big one in 1969. But other than that, we are actually in a very, very, I would say we are not just lucky, we are a miracle.
Yeah.
This is not my word; it's a word by some of my clients which are from Europe, like Germans and French, and these the top management of some multinational company in Malaysia. They say that you are guys like a miracle, and I agree with that. Yeah.
But I can't help to notice the birth of many right-wing groups like ISMA and even right-wing individuals like Ibrahim Ali and all that. In your opinion, why in the past where we are in a more simpler times, there's a social contract where each of the political racial-based political party takes care of the community that is based on, that is affiliated to the race itself. But in today's society, when a lot of political parties are trying to be more neutral in terms of their stance on race and religion, there seems to be a space where right-wing groups are starting to creep in and say that, hey, we will protect the rights of certain race and religion.
On the contrary, Arlene, if you study our history, right-wing groups has always been around. In fact, in the past, we can even argue that it's worse, actually.
What are the example of right-wing groups in the past?
In the past, you have to understand, we even have the communist threat from 1948 to 1960, and it carries until about late in 80s. So the right-wing and extremists has always been around. In the 60s, for example, there are political parties which is currently still existing. Wants Malaysia to be only for Malays, for example. We have that, we already have that. And I think if we have to be careful, Arlene, having this nostalgic past that everything in the past is better than today, or everything in the past is great. And this actually, we are lying to ourselves. And many people, especially those my age, they will say, oh, how great it was the past and how united we are. I think these group of people have distorted the history, or rather I don't think they do it knowingly. I think that what normally happens is this, Arlene. We tend to look at the past and we tend to exaggerate the past and we tend to make the past a golden era. And then what happens is we fall in love with our past. When we fall in love with our past, we go through this mental sickness that whatever God gives us today, we won't be happy. So in the past, they said, those who argue that the past, we have a nostalgic, beautiful past, has forgotten the fact that in 1969 we had a racial riot. So you cannot say that the past is far greater than here. I think that is...
But the racial riot is also very much concentrated in certain areas. For example, Kuala Lumpur, urban areas.
Yes.
For example, if you go all the way to Kedah, people there, I still remember the older generation from Kedah said to me that there's no racial riot. They were in fact surprised that it's happening at that period of time.
Yeah, this is a very good comment. I'll come back to that. Yeah? Just that we have to be. Just let's stick to the part whereby I suggest that we should not look at the past and paint a beautiful picture and start complaining what we have today. Good that you brought the 1969 riot. 1969 riot, for example, rather the May 13, we call it May 13, is an example whereby we fail on one hand, but we were successful on the other. About 2,000 Malaysians behave in a very, very bad way, but millions others actually help each other. So that is another what you call example of how I suggest that we are a miracle. Yeah. So, but we did have a riot in 1969. Yeah, and about 2,000 people went crazy. Yeah, and that's very important for us to do this. Every generation, Arlene, Gowri, we will have our own so-called challenges. Unity is a work in progress. Yeah, and 50 years down the road, when some of us still around, some of us are grandparents and everything, you will hear a younger Arlene, younger Gowri asking the same question about what's the problem now. Those people will look back at our time and say how great it is, our time. Yeah. So this is where we need to be, I would use the word factual rather than jump into ideas that say, oh, how bad the things is, all that. Now, people like Ibrahim Ali and Isma and people from, Hindraf, maybe even you can use those people in Dongzong. In Malaysia, we have what you call race warriors, race warriors, and they from their point of view. Remember, we believe in democracy. From their point of view, they are fighting for the rights of a legitimate right for their own so-called kind. Because this group of people, their first association with their kind is their own race. Yeah. Maybe, Gowri, you and Arlene, when you associate yourself as your own kind, maybe Malaysian. So, since we are a democracy, we should allow them to say their piece, What we need to do is, those of us who consider that we are more moderate, we must make sure our moderate voices is louder, sexier, more compelling, more exciting, and attracts more young people.
Yeah, nowadays when people talk about the moderates one, they will call it the silent majority.
Yeah. I would say, you see, Malaysians generally we are united. Yeah, of course, all of us have our own so-called racial likeness. We like to sell the idea that it's okay to be racial, not okay to be racist, but better to be Malaysian. Yeah, well, the silent majority, or which is not getting and staying silent for too long, as you notice by now. Many of us are popping up now, and you can see business organization coming out beautiful ads, for example, to show that, hey, you know what, at the ground level we are practically cool, the new. You see, about few months ago, I have a friend called Pak Yap. Pak Yap is like an elderly Malaysian, Chinese former. He's a retired businessman, and we, after we had our makan, he says, this Malaysia is so beautiful. He went to buy a ticket. He said the counter girl is a Malay girl. Call him, uncle. And both of us were laughing about it. It's actually, we in Malaysia, we love each other. We call each other matcha.
Yeah, it reminds me of the
ad.
the recent ad.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. This is what I'm getting at. Because, we were talking about it. And the last 1 month, whenever I give talks, I always talk about this, the fact that at the ground level, we engage with each other with love, actually. We call makcik, kakak, all those things. We don't see it in other countries. And now, of course, you notice a business organization has taken that beautiful character of the Malaysian and brought it up to the awareness of the rest. Because some of us do not realize that is happening. We do it all the time, but we took it for granted. These are the things I think we have to be careful. We are looking at the nostalgic past, but we forget that today, beauty is everywhere around us, and I'm glad the business organization came out with that ad and bring out the consciousness, because now many Malaysian young, for example, they feel that now things people are angry and we are more disunited and so on and so forth. The reason why right-wing groups, as you pointed out just now, Arlene, we hear about them now is because the communication is getting better. We have internet, we have more channels and more radio channels like you guys here. So obviously the voices become a bit more
amplified.
You can use your amplified, or now everything is more available to us. It's not just the voices of right-wing groups. We can hear for a lot. And now you go into Facebook, you can read so many things. So it's just that the world is changing, structurally, and the processes how we deal with each other has changed. And this is what we have to deal with. Rather than always going back, how great it was in the past. I don't think we should do that.
So we should stop thinking about the past and start thinking about the present and the future.
We should learn from the past, but we should deal with the present.
One of your initiatives that you did was a few weeks back. You started this book called New Politics, where you brought in YB Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, CEO of Global Movement of Moderates Foundation, as well as YB Datuk Dr. Mujahid Yusof Rawa, the Parit Buntar MP, and both of them are from different political faction. One is, of course, Barisan Nasional, another one is Pakatan. How did you manage to get both of them to co-author the book, and what the book is all about, in fact?
Okay, the history goes like this. Datuk Dr. Mujahid was my classmate in Penang. We were in Form 6 together in the same class. And he is, I would say, if you don't, I know some people don't like it, I call him the moderate leader in PAS. All right? And he, obviously, I was a bit worried because of what was happening in the past. I say, will this guy get into the Majlis Tertinggi? We haven't contacted for a long time. And when he got into Majlis Tertinggi and got number 10, and this is like 5-6 years ago, I was so happy. I called him up and say, let's have makan. So we had we recontacted each other. We talked quite a bit. We meet a few times, and to me, he is a good example of a moderate leader in PAS. And I followed Datuk Saifuddin's work. I don't know him personally, but I started tweeting with him all that. And I say, hey, this is another guy who is very moderate, and this is the kind of leaders that I like to promote, if you can use the word promote, And what happened was, while chit-chatting with my team at Zubedy, we say, it'd be nice to get these two good guys to come together and write a book. And when Dr. Mujahid and I had lunch, he also said something like, it'd be nice to. I said, yeah, perfect. That's what I was thinking. And then then things just happen. We start meeting and say, hey, why don't we write a book? And the idea of the book is this, because I'm not from Barisan or Pakatan, I'm not a politician. For me, the challenge, or you use the word the fight, is not between Barisan and Pakatan. It's not between Islam and Christianity. It's not between the East and West. It's not that. The challenge of humanity is always about between the inclusive and the exclusive. Yeah, the extremes and the moderate.
The exclusive would mean
those who thinks that they are the only one having the right to go to heaven, or they are the only one who have the right to stay in this country, or they are the only one who have the right to say what they want to say.
Would you also mean the exclusive would be those who are in the power of position?
No, exclusive.
The position of power. Sorry.
No, exclusive means people who feel that they want to monopolize power, thoughts, culture and all that. Yeah, so inclusive people they accept everyone, even though we are different. Yeah. So here we have two leaders, Dr. Mujahid and also Dr. Saifuddin, two individuals from two separate political blocs. and who are moderates. And I say, hey, why don't we get, we will prepare the questions. And how does a moderate or not, how does new politics will look at our history? How will new politics look at our education system? How will new politics look at our future? So that's how the idea came into being. And the project has started, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what are maybe some of the challenges that is bringing Malaysia towards a new politics?
The challenges of Malaysia, whether it's new politics or unity or bringing us for better economic growth, I've always have this argument that say our biggest challenge today is that Malaysians still have yet to grasp the idea and keep it to heart that we have to take ownership. Taking ownership means, Gowri, is that instead of putting the blame externally, we say, what can I do, but I myself haven't done it yet. That is our biggest challenge right now. In other words, like this, when Malaysians talk about unity, we always point, what is the government doing, what the government is not doing, what is this political party doing, and that political party is not doing. So in other words, Malaysians have this, if you don't mind me use this word, epidemic, whereby we still feel that whenever there's a problem to be solved, it has to be solved by something external rather than we ourselves. So the biggest challenge for new politics is that Malaysians themselves are not saying to achieve new politics, I have to change. Not the other party, not the government, not the opposition, not Barisan, not Pakatan. I first have to change. I'm not saying the rest should not have changed, but many Malaysians still do not understand that at the end of the day, our society is actually like a Lego set put together by individuals, Lego toys. And it is in our what you call that, when individuals, there'll be enough individuals that say, I will do the change, is when the country is going to change. So in Malaysia today, many of us still, whenever there is an issue, we say, this is the fault of UMNO, this is the fault. Last time was favourite was Tun Mahathir, and now it's the fault of maybe Anwar, all this kind of thing. Yeah, the thing is, while everybody have to play, but you and I, we have to ask a question first. Am I practicing what I'm asking the politicians to do? This is the biggest challenge as far as I look at it. But of course, I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman, and we business people are very pragmatic. Whenever there's a problem, we say, what can I do to solve the problem, rather than put the blame. Because in business, you do that. You tutup kedai lah. Yeah.
So when you say that a lot of people are still not aware, you think those people are in the minority or in the majority?
I think the majority of Malaysians are still very hard to say because I don't have a research paper that says that. But I think if you look at generally, we still feel that whenever there's a problem, we forget to say that, I have to do something about it. I have to first check myself. I have to see. This is not something new. It's not my idea, Gowri. If you look at the Bhagavad Gita says, reshape yourself through the power of your own will. You look at the Buddha said, great he is someone who conquered a million men in a battlefield, but the nobler victor is conquered himself. You look at the Tao Te Ching, the Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher says, to conquer others need strength, but to conquer yourself is harder. The Bible says, remove the speck, first, respect your own eye before you look at others. And the Quran say clearly things like, God will not change you unless you change yourself. So this is the life skills that we need to have. And we still have far away to go because we are currently, we have a society that say if tomorrow the longkang in front of my house is stuck, the first thing I want to blame is the Majlis Perbendaharaan, rather than taking my own shovel and shovel it out. You see, if you go to, let's say, in Netherlands, Holland, if let's say the road has a pothole, the community will quickly take their own cement and put it up. And here, the first thing they do is, if I'm from, let's say, my kawasan is under Barisan Nasional, I will, and I'm from opposition, I will whack that part of the government. And if my kawasan is from Pakatan Rakyat, and I'm from Barisan Nasional, so what I do is I will whack that person. I'll take every single opportunity to make the other party look bad, forgetting the fact that I could have just take a shovel and shove it. And this is how we can move forward. Moving forward, we Malaysians must decide, Am I that weak that I cannot do anything, that I cannot take action within my own influence?
But this is also based on the conditioning of years where our country has been ruled by a one-party system, even though there's opposition, but the opposition were pretty weak in the past. Only post 2008, where people started to have this political awareness that at least they can make something, a little change by one vote.
I contest the idea that this because of there's one political party running the country. I doubt that's the reason. Yeah, Barisan Nasional has its good points and bad points. Yeah, there's a political party just like any other beings besides God. Yeah, we'll have our strength and weaknesses, and I think Barisan Nasional is the same. So is Pakatan Rakyat. Yeah, I also will contest the fact that our political awareness has increased tremendously. I think political interests have increased, but political understanding and awareness, I think, is still far behind.
What was the difference in your understanding of political awareness and political interests?
Okay, I feel that Malaysians are interested in politics today, but I don't think they really understand or know. It's okay because as a nation, we're about 57 years old. Maybe if you use human being as an analogy, I think we are what you call perhaps a teenager right now. Yeah.
There's also a huge mushrooming of civil society ever since 2008 or 1999.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea that we have more and more people, looking at things and coming out. We are getting more sophisticated as a nation. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, but to say that there's more political awareness, yeah, maybe, but I don't think there's enough political understanding. I give you a good example, Arlene. A friend of mine in 2008, he is, at that time, maybe about 44, 45 years old. He drives a big car. He's a multimillionaire, engineer by training. Yeah, and, shows as though now he's politically aware. And he finally registered himself as a voter. And he actually is in the area of Lembah Pantai, where Nurul Izzah is the current MP. And when he went there this guy is really noisy about politics. Have opinion all the time, disagree whatever is, and so on and so forth. And when he went to vote, after voting the what you call it, Parliament Street, he went around and asked where is the Adun seat. Not realizing that in KL there's no such thing called Adun. So this is the situation we have out there. I think it is good that we have political interests more higher, and with political interests, I hope there'll be better political education, and slowly but surely we become more and more politically matured. I'm of the opinion that in Malaysia today, maybe it's getting better the last 1 year, that in Malaysia we do not have political awareness. Many Malaysians still decide who to vote based on party politics rather than real issues and real. Someone like Datuk Saifuddin, for example, is a fantastic, moderate thinking person, but he was not voted into MP. So it just shows,
he lost his own seat.
And he lost in the seat. So if we are politically that smart, then someone like
even within PAS, a lot of the moderate ones were being booted out.
Yeah. So in other words, like this. So if we are so smart right now, why is someone like Datuk Saifuddin not in Parliament? I think this is where we need to ask questions. I'm not saying the situation is so bad, but I'm saying that we slowly but surely we will become smarter and smarter, and we become more and more knowledgeable in politics. Yeah.
Ideological wise, what is the direction for the new politics, especially the one that is being launched?
All right, new politics actually is we can use like a new word we're using now. I'm using the word new politics. All of us have our own biases. Yeah, obviously every different group of person will define it the way they want it. Yeah, new politics for me is like this. Now we human beings, we relaunch toothpaste, we relaunch fashion, we relaunch cars, we relaunch so many things. Every now and then we should relaunch our politics too. So now I'm hoping there's a relaunch of politics. We're calling it new politics. Yeah, I do not want to define it as because the book is actually in a work in progress now. What I want to do is I want to get someone like Datuk Saifuddin and Dr. Mujahid to help us define what is new politics.
Because, I'm just trying to state what is on the ground now. For example, PSM, Parti Socialist Malaysia, their idea of new politics are politics that are geared towards more socialism. And then ideological think tank like Ideas are trying their best to sort of expand the idea of liberalism. And while other political parties, for example, DAP originally is supposed to be a political party that promotes social democracy, but now it seems to be between social democracy and a more capitalistic economy. But in the idea of new politics, what is the ideology that you want to prevail?
Okay, for me, this is my definition. But new politics for me is politics that have moderation at the heart of the politics. In other words, where number one, moderation. Number two, for me, where conscience play a very big part. Spiritual, moral conscience play a big part. In other words, like this new politics is where, if let's say my leaders, do something that it is not right, I will vote against him or her. So in other words, for me, new politics, I dream of a day that Malaysians will vote MPs and aduns into parliament, not based on political party, but based on how good the MP is going to perform.
So they can come from any ideological faction or background.
For me, I'll vote you whether you're Barisan. I mean, Datuk Saifuddin, whether he's in Barisan or Pakatan or as an independent, I will vote for him. Dr. Mujahid is the same for me. And many other politicians. So this is my idea of new politics. Is some Malaysians who actually decide to do what is right rather than what is good for my political party. But I do not want to define too much, because the idea is we provide the question and Datuk Saifuddin and Dr. Mujahid will provide the answers. So maybe next year when we have launched the book, you call us again, maybe all three of us here or something. It would be nice to talk about it.
And going back to what you said, Malaysia being a multicultural society and all, I'm a bit curious to know our path to unity in a partisan politics system.
First, we have to trust that every, almost all, if not generally, we Malaysians, whether come from the race-based political party or religious-based political party, or those who call themselves a multiracial party, and so on and so forth, that we have to trust that all of us are talking about the same thing. We all want to have a better Malaysia, but our platform towards that may not be in agreement. So we all are actually we oppose each other, but we are not enemies. So I think we are lucky since the Merdeka that we have both government party and opposition that did not go overboard. Though every now and then we have individuals do that, but as a political party, whether it is Barisan National Component Parties or even the Pakatan Rakyat before that, PAS and the AP and all that, while we may sometimes feel that they are a little bit overzealous, but at the core, actually, the Malaysian political parties are typical Malaysian. At the end of the day, we are not going overboard. For example, our opposition leader for a long time, like YB Lim Kit Siang, so he may be powerful in the way he speaks, kind of thing, but you never see him things like taking arms or So in fact, if you look at Lim Kit Siang, a lot of his work as an opposition leader is actually fabulous. You may want to read. I think. After him, the other opposition leaders are far behind the standard that he has. Also, now before him was Tan Chee Koon, Dr. Tan Chee Koon. So I feel that the past, for example, will have a new politics that say that nilai murni values of Islam. Now that's how they paint the future, and they have the right to do that because this is a democracy. Unless somebody says okay, the future of Malaysian new politics is we have to throw away the constitution, all this we cannot accept. Yeah, as long as our political parties work within our constitution, yeah, and work within our rukun negara, yeah, I think that is the what we should talk about. No, are they okay? If they're working towards it, I think it's okay. But let's see the best salesman win. You know, yeah.
That's the job of a politician, to sell the
Yeah,
idea.
sell the idea.
Another area that I want to focus is your initiative. It's called Say Something Nice campaign.
Yes.
What is it all about?
All right, Say Something Nice campaign is a campaign we launched in 2011. Yeah, the idea was mooted in 2009. Actually, 2 years later we organized it in the office, and then it slowly is snowballing. Now the idea of the campaign, Say Something Nice campaign, is to allocate August 31st, which is Hari Merdeka, right until September 16, which is Hari Malaysia. So we have 17 days, days of truce, days of goodness, days of which we Malaysians bring out the best in each other. And also we can use the days to say sorry to each other. So we want to bring the best of Malaysia in 17 days. Now the idea is, how do we create a segment in the life of Malaysians in a year where we stop for a while, and appreciate the miracle that we have. And that's how the idea was mooted. And we launched it internally in 2011 at Zubedy. 2012, we had a few bloggers to help us to write about it, kind of thing. Last year, we pushed it to a bigger level, and now we are bringing it up, to the national level as far as possible.
How does it actually work?
It works. Okay, good question. Gowri, like this. From the very inception, from the DNA of coming out of with this idea called Say Something Nice campaign, one of the criteria that we put in the campaign is that how do we create a campaign that spend the least money but get the most impact? Yeah. So we do not want to have a project where billions or millions of dollars spent and then nothing much happened. So, for example, the base of the campaign is called Say Something Nice. But you can do a lot of things. We have planned something nice. We have cooked something nice. We have.
So there's the word nice at the end.
Yes, yeah. So Say Something Nice is the base. So we have, for example, one of my friends is known as Monyet King, Dr. Bala. He starting host something nice. So we are encouraging, hosting. Yeah. We are encouraging Malaysians between August 31st to September 17. Grab a few of your friends or acquaintances from different backgrounds. I think, let's say, Chinese family, Malay family, Indian family. Just throw a small makan in your house. So you allow your children to mingle together. Even though you're not close, it's okay. So things like this. We have planned something nice. We got a brother, Jivan. He last year he planted 500 neem trees during the 17 days. This year he's going to do more of it. Yeah. We have what you call selfie, something nice we are doing. Please send your selfie to us.
I guess.
What we do is we are collecting selfie, about 2,000 now, where we are from the selfie, we are, building Malaysian map, and then we will launch it on September 16, the last. We have, this is interesting, this is called Shop Something Nice, like shopping something nice. It is actually a free market. On the last day in September 16, we are collecting a lot of clothes and and costume jewelries, and glasses, whatever. Whoever you can give anything. What happened is we're gonna set up like a pasar malam, or like one day it will be like a shopping mall. Yeah, give me some time. And we're gonna give coupons to the poor to come in and shop for free. Yeah, so you can come, you pretend like you're shopping, you pick, and then you wear, and then, I like this, and you give this token money. So this is what it is. We make sure that it is very, very easy to do. You can, for example, two of you come out with, let's say, friend something nice, so you create something. You can do sing something nice. You can do write anything that you're good at. Malaysians to do it. Now, our base for this program is a poster. We have a Say Something Nice poster. It costs us only about 50 cents to print a poster. And in the poster, we have, as though like a post-it 72 boxes on the poster. And we disseminate these posters to our clients, community halls, and so on and so forth. And some group actually print their own poster based on our
So
format.
you have the soft copy template.
You have copy. You can write to us. You print on your own, and then you distribute. Now you imagine just 50 cents, only 50 cents, one poster. 72 Malaysians have a chance to take action, and say something good about the country and feel good, and you can say something about your producer or your boss or your colleague or your mom kind of thing, depending where you put the posters. And can you imagine with a 50 cents poster, we have 72 people. That means per Malaysian to join this program costs less than 1 cent. And you leave the poster at the community hall, it will last for 1 month, 2 months, people passing by. So that is extremely efficient and effective spending. So this is what we want. We do not want you to spend millions and have a big boomba, but then nothing happens. So we have people doing things like like a company have their Say Something Nice campaign internally in the organization. This is what it is.
So it's an activity that anyone can do.
Anyone can do.
Yeah.
If you can dance, you do dance something nice.
I have a question with you regarding on the younger generation of today. I think through your initiative, you interacted a lot with young people. And do you think young people of today is radicalized? And will they be another May 13?
Okay, young people today and yesterday and over history has always have to come what you call. I mean, if young people don't challenge the older crowd, this world will be a lousier place today. And of course, when it's happening during our time, we will say, the young people today, they have changed. Well, during my time, I hear the same thing. If you read books,
Which era was that?
my era, yeah. I'm 50 years old, so I would say when I first joined a company, when I first started working, I was 24 years old. I remember the seniors in the company has a lot of complaint that we young Turks are a little bit, too impatient. All that. I mean, we hear the same thing right now about the Gen Y. So I think every generation will have that, and that's how the world is rejuvenated. The world become better, move forward in life because young people, have a new way to look at things and new ideas. And obviously, along the way, there'll be bridge builders. There'll be someone who, there's among the young that can bridge the old and the new, and they create a new future. So normally, history will prove that bridge builders inherit the world. Yeah. So young people today, in their own, in your own, two of you young people, in your own ways, your own structure, your own platforms, you will look radical to the people from the older folks, yeah. But as far as history is concerned, you guys are behaving how you should behave, yeah. And the idea is there will be some among you guys, just like the older folks, who will go overboard. And that is natural. Yeah. Now, whether we're going to have another May 13 or not, I hope not. I think that's the best way to.
But on the ground, with the people you meet, do you think younger generation of today, they are more divided, as in like living in silos?
I think we were divided from the past. I mean, again, Arlene, I always like to contest this. We have always in Malaysia, unfortunately, if you ask me, it's unfortunate that we are not moving closer together. From history, we've always having the Malays, Indian and Chinese, for example, and of course we have Sabah and Sarawak divided because of also geographically. We've always lived not all the time near to each other. There was always token, some token. For example, I'm a token Malay in the Chinese area, a token Indian in the Chinese Malay area, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, our structure is still going that way. I wish we have more policies to make Malaysians of different background come and live together. We have sold this idea, Arlene, that the government may want to introduce tax incentive. If your neighbor is not from your own kind, cut down your tax so that more people will live beside each other. Let's say you're Chinese, your neighbor is actually a Malay or Indian, then we give you tax incentive.
But that is, in terms of housing, that's based on the government's policy, isn't it?
Yes.
There are certain areas they are exclusively for Bumiputra.
No, I don't think that is. You see, what happened is this: the government has tried to ensure that certain number of houses, allocated to the Bumiputra. Whether it's a smart idea or not, well, we can debate. It's too short time in history to come out with a real what you call a deep answer. But let's look at my housing area. I live in Villa Manja in Kepong, 196 units of semi-detached house, yeah, and that's considered not cheap, the house. And out of 196,
Kepong has not been.
it's not cheap.
It's
not
becoming
cheap.
an expensive place now.
It is actually expensive. Semi-Ds is not going to be cheap. And out of the 196 houses, I think only 10 are non-Chinese. You know, it's not because the Indians and the Malays and the Gadazans and the Eurasians and all that do not want to stay there. It's practically out of their pocket ability. Yeah.
But is it also because of the differences in terms of class, as in like you have more class of society of a certain race?
Well, if you again, let's give it some time, okay? The Bumiputras are largely the 30-40% of the poorest in the country, yeah, and that's the reason why we need to have affirmative action to help that group of people, because if we don't have it, they will stay poor and stay behind.
Should the affirmative action based on race or based on actually needs or class understanding?
I think we should not limit ourselves. I think we should have more than just one method of affirmative action. Yeah. And affirmative action, Arlene, it's been happening all over the world actually. And some places they use race. Some part they use class, social class. Some parts of the world, maybe even in Malaysia, I think we may want to have affirmative action for, let's say, single parents, single ladies, who have children. So how we design affirmative action is based on the needs of the nation. So in Malaysia, after 1969, there was a need to what you call that, have affirmative action based on urban, rural, Bumiputra, non-Bumiputra. Now, whether that is the best, perfect way on that, we can debate forever. But it is obvious that the NEP has what you call that, probably is one of the most successful social engineering work in the world. Unfortunately, Malaysians do not read comparative studies, so they jump and say how bad NEP is. The truth is, NEP has saved millions of people out of poverty. Millions. You're not talking about one. I'm one of them. We used to live in a house where when it rains outside, it rains inside. Yeah. In the 1970s, my dad only earned like 100 ringgit, 110 ringgit a month for a family of 6.
But the NEP only lasted until 1990s, but it's still
Correct.
continuing until now. Do you think it's relevant?
No, it's not continuing until now. No, I think there is another, what you call
new economic model.
Another different model. I think we need to have another new economic policy. My opinion is, instead of debating that, I think let's find a new and looking at current realities, Arlene. Now, the current reality is this. It used to be the poor is we can see clearly the demarcation of urban and rural poor. And at the urban area, the rural area before, the poor are among the Bumiputras especially. Yeah. But today, if you look carefully, Arlene, about 60-70% of Malaysians are now in the urban area. And in the urban area, the poor is not from one race anymore. So you go to the urban poor area, you can find, whether you're a Malay, Chinese, Indian, whatever, you can see they live at that level. So now we want to do an NEP. We need to look at the current realities. But unfortunately, we still cannot jump out of this antagonistic way of looking at social engineering. People will still look at NEP. Those who pro NEP will pretend as though it is 100% perfect. And those who against NEP will try to bring it down to the lowest.
So I guess having a more contextual
yes.
view on NEP rather than either you support it or you're against it.
Yes. I mean, also there will never be a perfect, what you call a social engineering program. I mean, let's put it this way. This is where we go back to earlier. We Malaysians like to look at the other side and say, we demand you to be the most perfect, the most ideal. But when we question you back, if we question the person back and says, how about you? You didn't. Then they say, I'm different, kind of thing. Now the problem is this. Okay, there will never be a perfect social engineering program
or policy.
And just like the NEP wasn't perfect. but NEP has done a lot of good. Just imagine, I always try to explain to people, can you imagine if we didn't have NEP from 1970, 1990? Now, what would have happened to this country? I think these are the things we have to ask. And NEP, for example, has made sure millions of the poor people who jump from poverty into middle class. And these are fellow Malaysians. And unfortunately, many Malaysians still cannot see this. The question about NEP is this. There's some overzealousness. For example, we did not do the same restructuring with that kind of rigorous passion at the public sector. These are the things should be highlighted. Yeah.
Anyway, we are almost at the end of the show, but before that, we would like you to share your opinion in conjunction with Malaysia Day and Merdeka Day.
So we're actually collecting messages from all our speakers, and we'd like to hear from you. What is your idea of an ideal Malaysia, and also about Malaysia Day?
I think a good way to look at what Malaysia can be ideally is Vision 2020. I think the document is very well written. I think that would be a good ideal Malaysia, which I don't think we will reach there at 2020, but unity is work in progress. What would be nice actually is that Malaysians become more, I would say that let's use moderation as our
backbone,
our engagement platform. Yeah, my wish for Merdeka Day and how would I wish Malaysian there? Well, there are two parts to it. Number one, I think let's just August 31st and September 16. My first wish is that please do not make these 2 days in competition with each other, because again there are people who likes to divide the country. They say, why should we celebrate August 31st and September 16 Malaysia Day and vice versa? Well, I think it is very not smart to do that. So we should celebrate August 31st. And from August 31st to September 16, the 17 days, that's why we have Say Something Nice campaign. Let's just find, how the Muslim will say, bermuhasabah diri, or the Buddhists will say, you reflect upon yourself, that's how great the country is.
And have one more extra national holiday. Malaysians
Yeah.
are known to have to enjoy their public holidays.
Yeah. So what we need to do is this, this is my suggestion. Okay, some people say why should Sabahan and Sarawakian celebrate August 31st and has no meaning for them because there was Merdeka for Peninsular Malaysia. It's like this. Okay, in a family, I have a big brother. His name is Joe. Yeah, he was born 3 years before me. Nothing is going to stop me from participating, enjoying, and being happy on his birthday. So similarly, Sabah and Sarawak can join Peninsular Malaysia on the birthday of Peninsular Malaysia, the Merdeka Malaysia, and be happy. But then, don't forget, in September 16, Malaysia was born. Let's have another party. And what's wrong having two parties is far better than one.
That's true.
A good time. Yeah.
Okay, with that, thank you very much, Anas.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.